Next, I have several ribbons that I want to make some ribbon strips out of. I have it's a canvas-like stars and stripes, just a solid red, a silver 1.5 inch, and a 1.5 inch striped blue and white. But I want to make a bow first, and I want to use this for my bow because I think it's the prettiest ribbon. It's 2.5 inches wide and there's 10 yards on this spool. So I'm going to make a bow first, and then any ribbons that I have left over, then I'm going to maybe use some ribbon strips on the wreath. I'm going to use this Bowdabra. This is the Bowdabra is the plastic part. My husband made this board and just drilled some holes in the plastic base and drilled it to the board, and then I just drew some lines for measurement. You can get this like at Walmart. It has a little tool with it, and as you add your ribbons on here, you can just slide this little thing down to scrunch it down. This part, we sell the Pro Bow on our website on Trendy, and this is the spool holder. It holds up to 3 rolls of ribbons, and I'm just going to use that to make making my bow easier. I'm just going to slide that ribbon on, and with the right side coming off. Now I know you're looking at this sort of backwards, but this is the best angle I can get with my camera. We're going to make about a 14-inch bow, and I'm going to make my tails out of something out of the red and the blue and white stripe. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cut the piece for my tails. And I'm just going to layer that royal and white right on top of the red and make about a 14-inch tail. So I'll go ahead and cut those and put it on the board. And we're just going to slide that right down, right side up, and I'm just going to bring those tails to the back to kind of get them out of the way. Now, to start making our bow, I'm going to take about 3 or 4 inches and just slide the right side of the ribbon into the bow maker, and then I have my right side up, so I'm always going to have to, we're building our bow from the bottom up, so I'm going to have my right side of my ribbon up to make my loop. So I'm going to come out to about my 14-inch mark and make a loop. Come back to the center, push that down. Then I'm going to twist, bringing that right side up again, make a loop the same width on the opposite side, and I'm going to make 3 loops this width. Always bring that right side up. That's 2 loops on each side. Okay. All right, so now I have 3 loops on each side of the same width. So now I'm going to make 2 more loops, but they're going to be smaller. I'm going to do them at about the 12-inch size, 12-inch mark. Twist, bring the right side up. Now that's going to give me 2 loops of the 12-inch on each side. So now I'm going to end my ribbon off, and I'm going to leave about a couple of inches. I'm going to need a chenille stem and a large zip tie. And then I'm also going to take a short piece of the red to make a center loop. We'll do this. Let me go ahead and get the bow off first, but take the tool and you want to press that down. Scrunch that down. Now I'm going to everything is just stacked, and like I say, the bow is stacked from the bottom up. I'm very gently going to lift my bow off, keeping everything stacked. Get the bow maker out of the way. And then I'm going to take a chenille stem. I'm going to go around that stacked and bring it to the back, bring it to the bottom. I'm going to start my zip tie, but before I close it completely, I'm going to slide a chenille stem underneath it. So once I've secured my zip tie, I'll have the chenille stem to secure the bow to the wreath. Keep everything stacked. And then you're going to pull that as tight as you can get it. Then snip off that end of that zip tie with wire cutters. So now we have our bow, we have our tails facing right, and we need to fluff out our loops. But the first thing we're going to do, we're going to cover up this little short edge where we started, and I'm going to use some of the solid red, and I'm just going to fold each side in about a ½ inch from each side. Just have a little folded piece, and I'm going to cut that short edge off a little bit more. Don't want to cut it so short that it will pull out of your zip tie, but you want to be able to cover it up also. And then I'm just going to take that piece of red and go right around that center and bring it to the back. Of course, I've cut my piece too long. I want it to lap over in the back, but I don't want it to stick out, so I'm going to cut some of that off. Lap over in the back, and then I'm going to take that chenille stem and just twist around that and secure that little loop. Okay? So now we've got like a contrasting loop, center loop for our bow. We've got our chenille stems coming off the back. Now all we have to do is fluff out our bow and shape it. So now we got a big loopy bow, and that a short edge where we started on the back, we can just trim that off a little shorter. And then we want to take our tails and chevron them, so you just fold that edge and then cut at an angle on that folded edge. And it doesn't matter if your tails are not all the same length. You can do those however you want to.